This new era of football's here, and there are so many top players that I don't know who to support, but it almost never happened. These are 7 football players who were released from youth academies and still made it to the top. And who better to start with than the guy who makes the midfield look like his backyard? Declan Rice. Now lining up for Arsenal, is considered one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. But believe it or not, things didn't always look this good. Before West Ham, Rice was an academy player for Chelsea, but they released him at the young age of 14 because they just didn't think he was good enough for the Blues academy. Apparently, they already had too many players in his position, or maybe they just didn't see the potential that everyone else does now. Serves them right for having to spend $147 million on a CM now. Rice didn't give up though. The rejection must have stung, but he knew he was good enough and just went to West Ham instead. After a successful trial at West Ham, he quickly rose through the ranks and into the first team. Now, after years of battling it out in the Premier League, his work ethic, tactical awareness, and ability to break up play have earned him a spot in one of the best teams in the world. Chelsea needs to make some changes, because if they sold Salah, De Bruyne, and Rice, someone in there is sleeping on the job. Rice was told no by a big club, but that didn't define him. It just made him hungrier to prove them wrong. But not as hungry as this next player. From a nobody to the best left back in the world, Andrew Robertson has had a wild ride. His running is one of his greatest traits, and his pinpoint crosses tear up the left flank for Liverpool. Believe it or not, this Scottish star was once deemed too small for Celtic's youth academy. Too small? Yeah, he's no Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but I've seen much smaller players do much better for themselves. Apparently his height wasn't what they were looking for in a defender. Okay, maybe defenders need to be big and strong, but pacey defenders are also a thing, you know? This rejection could have easily broken his spirits, but Robertson dug deep. He found a new home at Queen's Park, then climbed the ranks with Dundee United before eventually landing at Hull City. It was there that his attacking instincts and work ethic truly blossomed. Finally, in 2017, Jurgen Klopp saw something in him and came calling. The rest, as they say, is history. Robertson's become a Champions League winner, a Premier League champion, and the captain of Scotland's national team. I think it's fair to say he showed the Celtics how small he really is. That sounded better in my head. He isn't the only player rejected for being too small. Joao Felix looked pretty skinny when he first came to the scene, but he's definitely one of the best in the world now. There's a reason he's playing for Barcelona, and FC Porto certainly didn't see it. This Portuguese wonder kid wasn't always destined for stardom. He first tried out for FC Porto and was released by FC Porto's academy at a young age for being, you guessed it, too small. Apparently, his slight frame didn't fit their mold for a successful player. Felix, however, never lost sight of his dream. He honed his incredible technical ability elsewhere, eventually landing at Benfica's academy. His talent quickly developed, and at just 19 years old, he was tearing up the Portuguese league. Atletico Madrid, with their keen eye for talent, saw the potential others missed and splashed a whopping €126 million on him. He didn't really get a chance to get up to sleep at Atletico, but now at Barcelona, he's really settling in. He's still pretty young, and he's already proved Porto completely wrong. He's not the only Atletico Madrid player to have been rejected as a youngster either. Antoine Griezmann. The French forward, known for his creativity, finishing, and elusive movement, very nearly missed out on professional football altogether. At 14 years old, he was rejected by Olympique Lyonnais, a major force in French football, for being too small. Wait, too small again? Do youth academies not know about nutrition? If a player's good but too small, they're supposed to take him in and help him develop and grow. That's kind of their job. But these guys are like, nah, you're too small. But Griezmann just went somewhere else instead. He crossed borders and headed to Spain, where Real Sociedad took a chance on the young Frenchman. There, he blossomed under their guidance, showcasing his exceptional talent. His success in Spain eventually caught the eye of bigger clubs, leading him to Atletico Madrid and even Barcelona. Griezmann's since become a World Cup winner with France and a household name in football. Just like this next guy, who would have been the greatest of all time if not for some bad luck. The name Ronaldo would make you think of Cristiano, but the OG fans know there's only one Ronaldo. R9 was so unbelievable, you would have thought he's been playing pro football since the age of 3, but even the phenomenon had a bumpy start to his career. You might be surprised to learn that a young Ronaldo was released by Flamengo, a giant of Brazilian football, because his family simply couldn't afford the bus fare to get him to training every day. Imagine that! One of the greatest strikers ever almost missed out because of something as simple as transportation costs. And Flamengo didn't even care to reschedule. Thankfully, talent can't be kept suppressed for too long. He was soon picked up by another club, Cruzeiro, where he exploded onto the scene. And the rest is history. World Cups, Champions League titles, Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo went on to be a legend of the sport. And he even inspired players like this next guy to follow in his footsteps. Harry Kane knows a thing or two about being a striker, and he also knows what it's like to be rejected. The current captain of England and one of the most prolific strikers in the world wasn't always seen as a future star. He first went to Arsenal's academy at the tender age of 8 for being a bit chubby. Apparently, the Gunners didn't see the world-class finisher lurking beneath that extra padding. Isn't that the most Tottenham thing ever? One of the best players in Spurs history went to try out for Arsenal first. Ouch. Arsenal rejected him though, and body-shamed him too. Well, the only one doing the shaming now is Kane. He's one of the most dangerous strikers in the world. And by dominating world football at Tottenham, he definitely took his revenge against Arsenal. Kane's become a Premier League Golden Boot winner, a Champions League finalist, and England's all-time leading scorer in major tournaments. And now he's lighting the pitch on fire for Bayern. Talk about being just a chubby little boy. Speaking of the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry, one of the only rivalries more fierce than that one is the one between the Manchester clubs. And it's not just on the football pitch either. The two teams are always on the lookout for a chance to get one up against the rival. This is where Marcus Rashford came in. The Manchester United superstar could have been lining up in sky blue, and the only thing that stopped him was his reference for United. He tried out for Manchester City and was very close to joining Manchester City as a youngster. He even trained with them. City clearly saw potential in the young player, but Manchester United, recognizing that same potential, swooped in with a more convincing offer. Rashford already preferred United, so it was a bit of a no-brainer. But imagine if Manchester United hadn't picked up on him. He would have been in this City squad. Imagine the dominance City would have over world football if they had Rashford in the squad as well. This one isn't exactly a story of an academy rejecting a player. It's rather the other way around. Rashford rejected City's academy, and it's about time someone returned the favor. City might be kicking themselves now. Rashford would have been at City right now if only a better offer or a more convincing plan was offered. If only they had Pep Guardiola at the club at that time. He would have recognized Rashford's talent in a heartbeat and told the club to give the player what he wants. Either way, it's not like City needs more players in that squad. There's enough talent being wasted sitting on the bench already. Do you know of anyone who isn't on this list? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure you check this next video out. It's definitely one of the best ones yet.